We got us another episode. I literally got off a plane last night or this morning at midnight. Okay. So I don't know where my other glasses are. So for now, we're going to get into it. If you are new here, you're not one of my loyal subscribers, subscribe. Join the channel. I'm Denise Brady. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist who loves reality TV, pop culture, mental health. And we blend those things over here. It feels so good to be back in my chair, be back home. I got home safely. Okay. So this episode had a lot of nuances. Do people really know what that word means? Or do they just say it? Okay, do they just say it? Now we get this table scene again. I guess we're gonna get flashbacks back and forth to this table scene until we get the full scene at the very end. They gonna spoon feed it to us. That's what is really given, okay? Tamar is asking her sister about the wedding. How's it going? Small talk. Let's pretend like we get along. Let's pretend like we're sisters. Let's pretend like we're sisters because on paper we are, but in reality we are not. We don't get along. We don't talk to each other. We're all disconnected. But because of this show, we need to make it seem like we get along. Okay. And so Tamar is trying to oblige. She's trying to. So tell me, Towanda, like, how's your wedding going? Well, there's a lot of nuances between like getting the brides ready and the groom. I'm like, nuances in what? Explain how you just use that word in the wrong context, okay? And, they get into it. And the energy is like, why are you asking me about my day when I don't want you to be a part of my day? And they get into it. Well, I heard, Tamar's like, well, I heard you didn't even want me to be there. I didn't say that. Who said that? You did, girl. This is the second episode where I am feeling the vibe that Towanda is one person on the show compared to the confessionals. Okay. And this again, this is the Towanda show. I run this production. All these people backstage, they do what I say. Okay, what I say. And so she says, I never said I wanted you not to be there. It was more of you. How long are we gonna play this game? How long are we gonna play this game? You don't want your sister there. Okay, you really don't. We doing all this for a checky check. Okay, we're sitting at this table for a check. Okay, we're sitting at this table for the coins to be deposited into my direct deposits so I can keep my life going and keep paying for this wedding. All right. And then we get over to the podcast and let's talk about Ashley a little bit. Now, Ashley brings up discussing what's right for you may disappoint other people. As a therapist, that is so true. So many people are living their lives, not telling their story, not healing, because they're fearful of the disappointment of others. Fearful of my story breaking the family, the legacy. What will people think about me if I share my story? So the disappointment to me is more powerful than the shame. Okay. People feel like, oh, it's shame holding me back. It's fear holding me back. Baby, it's that disappointment that you might disappoint your mama, your daddy, to let it loose out there to the world that you didn't have the perfect life, that you have been hurt. Okay. So I want y'all to see that it's not so much fear at times. Disappointment is staring you in the face. What will other people think about me? And I don't want to be a disappointment to other people in my family by sharing my truth. So I'm going to stuff it. I'm going to stuff it. And I want to know the other lady on stage. Let me know if she's a therapist because I didn't see her name pop up of what she actually does. I know she's been, I don't want to say following Tamar, but she's been with Tamar last season too. Didn't she do? Was she the one who did the spiritual thing, or was she talking to Traci in the afterlife? I can't remember her deal, but they need a therapist on that stage. Too many times, y'all, I have seen podcasts, wellness conferences, wellness events with no therapist present. No therapist. But we're regurgitating trauma. We're unlocking trauma in the audience. I'm sharing my trauma on the stage, but there's no safety net of someone who's trained and skilled to handle the emotions that people might feel and experience from this conversation. Let's just put mics up and call it a wellness event. Okay. Not only that, I'm on a little bit of a tangent. I've seen lately also mental health conferences with therapists. And when I go look at their page, I'm like, oh, what therapist is this? It's lifestyle. Okay. You're using your platform as a therapist to be on yachts, boats, trips. And that's okay. Okay. That's perfectly fine. But I want to see more people on these panels who are out here doing the work, who are out here really helping people get into therapy, break the stigma. You want a bikini on a yacht? How is that helping mental health? But I digress. Okay, because I saw a particular little conference flyer, and I'm like, okay, let me look up these therapists, see what they doing. Yacht photo, ass out, having drinks at a bar. This does not give therapy. Okay, but let me know how y'all feel about that. Okay. I want to know also, after the podcast, they hug it out. I like how Tamar gave her a public apology for not being there, but I want to know what happened once the mics were pulled from the sockets. Okay. Did y'all continue to build your relationship? Was it a come up for the podcast? Or was it a genuine, I want to get to know you, I apologize, let's pour into our relationship, let's do the work of becoming closer? I'm not quite sure that happened. And it, based off of Ashley's like response, what was it, like a year or two ago? She felt used. And her feeling used makes me think, okay, there was no continuance of a relationship post, her flying the ATL and going back to Spain. And that's a sad part because it's like another person in her family who has, I guess, allegedly exploited her, used her, and not really supported her and giving her the family love that she deserves. And Trina continues, even from the Gabe's grave, defend that man, defend what happened. Why can't we see a phone call conversation between Trina be the bigger person, be the elder, and work it out? Why do we continue to see the women all evolve around men? Shit, men who ain't even alive no more. Okay, where is I want to say girl code, but I don't even think that exists here. The sisterhood. Okay, where's we as women support women? But over again, we see the men are the center, and the women just kind of evolve around the men. So once again, Trina out here protecting Grave from the dead, protecting Gabe, and it's like, well, all I have really is lean on the men around me. Vaughn, Gabe. What else you got? Okay, what else you got? All right. But I do appreciate Tamar giving her apology. I just want to see apologies with action. That is my own personal thing. It's like, you're going to apologize to me. What are the actions? Where's the work? Show me a difference in behavior when you apologize to me. And that's the thing. People need to learn that when someone apologizes to you, there needs to be actions with that to not repeat the same behavior. What's going to be different this time? But it feels like often, oh, you say you're sorry. Okay, I forgot about it now. And then when y'all shocked and surprised, they do the same thing. How could this happen again? Because they just gave you an apology with no work. Okay, no work. Now we also see Sean. We get this scene with Sean and his wig. Sean and his wig. I feel like every time this man is on screen, he looks different. Okay, we saw him, was it last season? When he proposed and he looked way different. Now we're seeing him with the wig on. Okay, let me know your thoughts about men wigs. I don't know. Unfortunately, during this time, Towanda is, hip by a car, which is very sad. She was just leaving the airport, dropping Sean off. And unfortunately, airports are crazy. LAX, people be driving like lunatics, trying to get in and out. The way airports are set up are not really safe for people to be walking, to be honest. Okay, they probably don't even need to have cars going up in there. Go somewhere else and pick up everybody. But she get hit by a car, and we see her bruised and in the hospital bed. Days, it seems like, away from her bachelorette party. She has to get a cast. And she's very disappointed, which I can truly understand. Like, who really wants to be getting married, having their first, I believe, real wedding in a cast and a bruised face? That is terrible. Now, the scene with Toni calling, Toni be phoning in her scenes. Once again, I'm not really effing with y'all like that. I got a whole life outside of y'all, moved away for a reason. But I have a contract, so let me phone in like, oh, you going to Bermuda? Where you going? No clue really about what's going on in her sister life. She didn't even sound surprised she got hit by a car. I'm guessing this was a little bit of a scene and set up that I'm sure Sean or somebody else called Toni right when it happened. But let's get on camera that you talking, okay? Let's get on camera that you're talking. So they, are talking about her health and how she shouldn't go, which I'm gonna get into a little bit deeper about Toni giving advice on somebody else's health now. Okay. We see we see Tamar is preparing for her tour. And does her tour give Martini or Long Island? Because I saw a little bit of the diva behavior come out here. A little bit of the diva behavior. And everybody behind the scene was like, here we go with the diva. Here we go, diva. Here we go. Here we go with the diva. But does it matter if people who come to the show drink Long Island or a martini, long as they buying tickets, long as they showing up? And I think for the sake of the creative aspect of this, the martini was a little bit cuter than probably Long Island. I get what they were going. And if you're such a creative, Tamar, I'm sure your team debriefed you on the setup, what we were going to do, but you are acting like they didn't. When I'm sure that they did. Okay, I'm sure that they did. But this is an example of another sister having to be the center of attention. We see it with Towanda needing to be the center. We see it with Tamar. It's interesting because I think the thing that at times gets in the way of Towanda and Tamar seeing each other is it's a lot of things. It's trauma, resentment. I think it's also want to be seen and want to be the center of the family. I think that also gets in the way because I think Towanda really wants to be the head, and I don't think that there's room for her ego in the sisterhood. I just see so much of her ego always coming to the light. Now the women finally arrive to Tulum. They having a good time. Towanda can't do nothing because she in a cast. Somebody let me know, how is this, veil hanging onto the bald head? Okay. It's a little bit of a mess, but let her have her day, I guess, because they couldn't, I'm sure, cancel everything and get their money back because it was too close of a timing. We need to do it for the show. So we gonna still go to Tulum, Mexico, which are people still going to Tulum? Because I feel like the pandemic, y'all wore Tulum out. Y'all wore it out. All right. Now they're having a good time. They're reminiscing. We see, I believe it's Towanda reminisce about Traci. Traci was the life of the party. This bachelorette party was missing Traci. It wasn't a bachelorette party to me because it was a little bit dull. Because you needed her energy, her laughter, she is the party. She's the vibe. And unfortunately, she's not here to help celebrate, but I also wonder if she was alive, would she have attended? How would the energy be? Would they all be getting along? I don't know if it would have been all peaches and cream like she's reminiscing about. Okay. And I forgot to say, we also saw Tamar preparing for a tour. Oh, we did talk about that. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. We get Evelyn writing a book. Yeah, do y'all want to read her book? Are y'all interested in her book about her life story? I feel like, Mother Evelyn is similar to Trina in some ways. Always find a new business adventure, something just to do. She had the cooking show. She writing a book. Her storyline last season was that she was going to be trying to date again. I just want her to be a grandmother. Just be a grandmother. Spend some time with your kids, grandkids. Let us see that. I gotta read her book. Okay, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. And I believe it's during this time we see Towanda disappointed that her sisters are not helping her. And I'm not sure this is the part we see the scene where producer is saying about Tamar coming and not coming. But we're going to blend it, okay? We're going to blend it. Towanda is disappointed her sisters are not helping her with the wedding. Lies. It's all cap. It's all cap. Because you don't want Tamar here. The energy that we got at the beginning of the episode at the table, you don't want her here. When is the last time we saw a scene with just Towanda and Tamar with no arguing? How far back was that? Okay. Now, I think that Tamar would have went. It's on she had a ticket to go. And somewhere along the line, his name OG, one of the producers, showrunners, got the message back to Tamar, you ain't wanted. Girl, you're not wanted. They don't want you here. And Tawanda's like in a side scene trying to say she didn't say that. She said that at the beginning. But then we see the roll tape where we see Towanda on the beach talking to the showrunner about how, hey, your sister's trying to make it. And Tawanda's like, make it to what? I don't really want her here. She would have caused problems. And like I said at the beginning, I thought we were getting two different sides of Towanda, but that to me is the real Towanda. Running the show, I run the shots. This is my show. Kevin Sr. not on my show. And now that Kevin Jr. has reconciled with his father, where he at? We don't see him on the show either. Okay, he is nowhere to be found. Hopefully he's, getting some help through I'm sure some depression, health issues he has had, getting custody back with his son, really working on himself. But once he got back with his daddy, where he at? Well, you signed with the enemy? Not on my show. And that is a whole layer that we could have gotten. I feel like in so many ways, this show is not authentic. We're not getting the real authentic lives of each of these women. Tamar and Toni in the car, phoning in her scenes. Why can't we see with Birdman? Your marriage with Birdman, your relationship. I would even, kind of settle for seeing a little bit more of you and your kids. But she's like, okay, let me phone in my scenes so I can do what my contracts say. Oh, yeah, you really shouldn't be going on no trip because of your health. Girl, and your doctor told you should not be going on tour. So how you going to give somebody else advice on what to do with their health when are you really taking care of yours the best way? The way you're supposed to be? Okay, are you taking care of your health the same way? So you are not the woman to, be giving advice to somebody. I really don't think you should. But this is the Towanda show. It will always be the Towanda show. Now, I'm not going to say I feel like the behind the scenes people of the show are afraid of Towanda, but I do get that they do what she says. And in some ways, I feel like that has hurt the show. There's just so many different olive branches, layers. We could have went the Birdman route. I personally would like to see Kevin Sr., and his son reconciling, working through that. That is family stuff. That is real family stuff of that. The anchor of the family passes away. How do you move on? How do you stay connected? How, at least in the Black community, I feel like death in a family brings out the worst in people. People's true colors, intentions. And I would have liked to have seen some of that because people connect to that. People have gone through that. People are still going through that. Trying to reconcile with a family member when have your family be saying some stuff about them. You over here trying to figure out if it's true what they saying. What do I think? That could have been real to me. But we're getting what Towanda wants us to see. We're getting her version of Braxton's 2.0. All right. But as long as Towanda is running this show, this is what we're going to get. And I don't need the back and forth flashbacks, fast forward, flash it back. Stop it. I just don't like the way this show is really edited either. So they're having this conversation. They're having this little party. Really get into the festivities. And Trina kind of disappears. All right. Where's Trina at? And we see the black and white. The credits coming on. Trina is getting a call from Bond. Bond lets her know that he is in the emergency room with congestive heart failure. Oh, I'm getting on the plane right now. Why? Bond says. Why? Now there's a part of me that's the why is be with your sisters. What can you really do for me here? By the time you get back, will I still be in the hospital? They haven't ran no tests yet. I might just be laying in the bed, so be with your sisters. Okay, I get that part. The other part of me is like, you don't like me. Bond is a very cold person at times on screen, so I just still wonder, does he like her? The no was cold to me. Was it no? No, the why. The why was cold to me. And so once again, I went back to, when do you want me to be there with you? This is kind of serious. Yeah, I've been here for a couple of days. Maybe it's the tail end of the trip. Maybe it's the middle. I've been here, but I want to be with my husband. I just lost my sister. I don't want to lose another person. I've lost Gabe. And I believe Gabe was living with her when he was sick. So I watched him lose his life. I watched my sister lose her life. I have unprocessed grief of watching the people around me who I love pass away. So I'm gonna get on a plane because I can't lose another person right now. So to me, it was just like, do you really like her? But I want to know what you guys think of, both sides here. Now that's pretty much the end of the episode. Sister's still doing the same thing, not getting along, y'all. Just not getting along. And when will it ever be sisterhood? Will we ever get back to the heyday? Maybe like the first 2-3 seasons of the Braxtons. But it's always been like this. There's just so much resentment, trauma, that I just don't know if everyone is willing to put in the work to move past. It's not about can they get moved past it, because they can. But everyone has to be willing to do work on themselves, real work. And then also we see a family therapist once a week. I don't know how that would work. Maybe virtually, since we're all in separate places. Maybe we commit to, let's go on a retreat. A 2-week retreat where we don't have our phones. It's just us, I don't know, nature somewhere on a wellness retreat, trying to connect and really breaking down how we got here. No distractions, no teams, no cameras. Actually, cameras, yes. Sorry. Okay, I want to see it. And we're just working on ourselves, some kind of just retreat where we're just, maybe you bring in Dr. Spirit, some other professionals. You bring in some other professionals, Dr. Spirit, a few therapists, wellness coaches, a yogi, okay, somebody doing yoga. And we really watch them just heal, break down, be vulnerable, be their true selves. And y'all give us that. But it's just easier for them to have this facade that everything's great when it's really not. Okay, when it's really not, it's sad because this is sisterhood too. This is sisterhood. This is family. But, it doesn't have to look like this, but they're showing us in some ways this is family. These are relationships. But of course, I want to hear from you guys. I have a lot of stuff to catch up on. There's some stuff from last week I want to talk about. Let me know in the comments. Is it too late to talk about the Kardashian interview? Yeah, okay. But your girl's back. I gotta find my other glasses. They're in my suitcase. But please support the channel. Subscribe, turn your notifications, do all the do. Support this channel. I appreciate you guys. All this great stuff that is happening in my life would not be happening if it wasn't the support of this community. We are a community. I am building a community over here. So join the community, join the membership. It's only $1. If you can't join the membership, just like the video. Come to our lives. It's really good over here, healthy. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good rest of your weekend. Bye. See you there.